Hey everyone, Dave here. I'm going to start pulling up the presentation and get ready for today's webinar. Okay, looks like I'm sharing my screen here. Going to switch into the presentation and make that full screen. Today we're talking about SEO for startups, how to build a foundation that scales. We've talked about SEO before in various capacities. We've had a webinar about top 5 mistakes. We've had webinars about keyword research and content strategy, so aspects of SEO. But today we're going to dive a little bit deeper in how it relates to startups. Firstly, a little bit about me. This webinar is a monthly webinar as part of, Philly Tech Entrepreneurs. Philly Tech Entrepreneurs is a free community in Philadelphia for tech entrepreneurs. We do monthly happy hours, we do a monthly webinar, and we do a weekly podcast that comes out on Thursday. I personally have been in Philadelphia about 5 or 6 years. I live in Graduate Hospital. And in my other life, I run an inbound marketing agency called Shortlist.io. We provide white label solutions for agencies and also brands to help them increase revenue over headcount. We provide services such as SEO, content marketing, website design and dev, keyword research, conversion rate optimization. And so that is kind of where this expertise is coming from for this presentation. Today, we're going to be exploring the importance of SEO for startups. SEO is a crucial strategy. You've all heard a lot about it, I'm sure. But there's a lot of myths there. There's a lot of things that people don't understand. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons and how it might relate to a business that you're working on. First, let's talk about why SEO matters for startups. This is a percentage of web traffic from different sources. It's a general statement. And what it shows is around 53% comes from organic search. So organic search usually means Google, but it could also include Bing. In short, it's a huge source of traffic. Now, it's important to understand for your brand, for your industry, your niche, if these numbers are the same. They could be higher or lower. We've seen companies, brands where 90+% of the traffic that they get is from Google. We've also seen the reverse, where it's something like 10%. Some of it is reflective of the marketing that you do, right? Like grass grows where you water it. And so if you're not doing a lot of work organically, you might not be getting a lot of traffic there. But some of it also just comes down to the industry itself. And some industries just naturally are searched more on the web. And therefore, SEO is going to be a stronger strategy for them. There are a number of pros, for SEO. Probably the biggest thing, honestly, is in this top left corner. So long-term ROI. If you're able to generate traffic through Google, through organic search, then you could, what you're doing is you're potentially setting yourself up for sustainable and compounding return on your investment. So if I rank for some keywords, then every day I am basically there ranking for those keywords, and I can benefit from that traffic every day, every week, every month, effectively without doing anything. And now there's obviously a caveat there, which is that you do have to sort of be investing in your site, in your SEO to maintain rankings. But it's not so direct that if you take a day off or something, it's you're not just gonna not be there. Whereas with something like paid advertising, which we'll discuss later, if you stop investing money in that campaign, if you turn that campaign off, you're literally gone. All the traffic, all the leads, whatever was coming from that is gone. And so SEO is definitely more favorable in the sense that if you can establish a foothold, you can benefit from in the long run without having to constantly invest in it. Um, and that's really kind of the biggest benefit for really all businesses, not just startups. But it doesn't come without some serious cons that need to be balanced, right? So, firstly, SEO is typically a long-term game. It can take months, even years, to build visibility and rankings, especially nowadays. It's just so competitive. There's so many more websites, businesses, and there's no more room in the search than there was before, right? There's always ever been 10 results on the first page. And now there's even honestly less real estate, right? With how much sort of real estate, and when I'm talking, I'm talking about the literal physically kind of like on Google's search results page, how much space is allocated to paid ads or to Gemini snippets, like the AI answer of a question, or Google My Business pages and things like that. And so, there's less space than ever. There's more people vying for it. It takes a long time, and it's really, not for everyone. You really have to understand the competitiveness of your niche and whether or not SEO is a reality. It does require consistent effort and investment. Obviously, I gave the example of paid advertising where it's not like every day you have to be putting money into it. You can take time off, you can take a day off, a week off, you can take a month off. But overall, like if you just stop investing in SEO, you will see a drop in your rankings and likely, your traffic leads, in earnings. It is it's typically slow. Again, there's so many caveats to these types of things. There are people that overnight have lost, all their traffic. It can happen. But generally speaking, it's a slow kind of grind. I mean, my wife, for example, has a food blog called avocadopesto.com that she worked on like over 10 years ago. And she worked on it for years, and she wrote articles and built up traffic. And now she does nothing on it, and she hasn't done anything on it for years. And it continues to generate traffic and to generate earnings from advertisements. And it's been relatively stable. It's dropped off, but you'd be surprised, to have kind of done nothing on it for years, that it still produces, a relatively similar amount of income every month. That's really kind of like the power of SEO. Um, of course, there are, algorithmic updates that can happen at any time that can disrupt, your rankings and things like that. So, there's no perfect marketing channel that has all pros and no cons, and that's what you have to kind of balance with SEO, and you have to determine whether or not it makes sense for you, and for all startups. It's typically, going to be superior in niches that are very content heavy, right? Because content is what ranks and what generates traffic. So if you have a content heavy or research driven industry, you're likely going to be benefiting from SEO more than others. So for example, if you're in your blog or media, but even lots of SaaS companies or e-commerce businesses will often write articles as a way to generate traffic so that people then can discover the business that is run. Some of the biggest companies out there, like a HubSpot, for example, which is a CRM, like $1 billion business, I believe, and they, have generated a ton of traffic and leads through SEO, investing in blog content and things like that. So it is, definitely relevant to so many different types of business models. Always helps if you have a clear differentiator. So if you have, a startup with a clear, unique value proposition, product features, something that's, you can write about and you can create an angle that's, interesting to read. Um, Earlier, I spoke about SEO versus other marketing channels. This is not, to say that SEO is better than PPC or when PPC is pay per click, right? It's paid advertising, or the other way around. They're just different. And you kind of have to understand the pros and cons of each and understand for your business what might make the most sense. Generally speaking, though, SEO has a higher long-term ROI because of how long it takes to establish yourself, but also by how long it lasts when you do. Whereas PPC is, better in the short term, right? So I can turn on ads for any business and generate traffic tomorrow. It might not be ROI positive. I might not get, customers from it, but, as long as you're willing to pay, you can do it. SEO builds lasting organic traffic, and PPC requires an ongoing ad spend. So let's talk about some quick SEO wins for a new startup. And I think the first thing is also, when is really probably the question is, when is the right time to even consider investing in SEO? If you're trying to validate your startup, I don't recommend SEO because SEO is not going to give you data and feedback immediately. And that's really what you need when you're trying to validate a concept. When you're trying to validate a concept, you want to know as soon as possible whether people are interested, whether or not you are solving a problem that people are willing to pay for. SEO, by nature, taking months and even years, is not going to give you that answer in an adequate time to let you know whether or not you're on the right track or whether you need to pivot. And once you've already invested in SEO, you can't just change what you've invested in. So if you're generating traffic for certain keywords, if you've written certain articles, and all of a sudden you pivot your startup and who it's for and what it's about, you're kind of stuck now with a lot of useless traffic, and don't be mistaken that a lot of traffic is not really beneficial to all businesses. And so, that's why I think, SEO works better when you really have a good understanding of who your target market is, what their pain points are, and you have some degree of, product market fit, because now you're really ready to invest in, say, I want to ingrain myself in this positioning for a long run. I want to kind of build some authority in this space because I know who I am and who I'm for. If you decide to pursue SEO as a marketing channel, you generally want to focus on low competition, long tail keywords. So low competition means it's a keyword that not a lot of major authoritative sites are already competing for. As a startup, you're likely going to have lower authority, and therefore you're going to need to be picky and choosy about the words you go after. Long tail keywords, so keywords that have usually 4 or 5 or more words, are usually less competitive, just by nature of the fact that more words usually means they're more specific, and that usually means they're kind of less searched. They have less search volume in that, and then technically they're usually less competitive. You're going to want to leverage existing content. So you may already have written some blog posts. You may have some service pages. You might have a homepage. So that's a good opportunity to relook at those pieces of content and go, have I optimized this for SEO? Am I optimized? Are the image optimized? Do I have the proper meta tags? Have I included maybe videos to make it more user friendly? Is the content relevant, informative? It's always easier to work with an existing piece of content because you already have an idea of what it might be ranking for. You can run it through any number of optimization checkers to kind of see what the gaps are and fill those in. You may want to try to build backlinks through partnerships and thought leadership, or through through any means. Getting backlinks to your site is going to strengthen its authority, and a rising tide lifts all boats. So basically, with a more authoritative site, you're going to be able to rank higher. And then if you have a local business, you're going to want to focus specifically on local SEO. SEO by nature is not inherently local. If you just are ranking for a general keyword, then anybody in the country or world can find you for it. And if you only work with customers that are geographically close to you, then that traffic is going to be useless. And so you need to know whether or not local SEO is an important criteria for you. There are a number of challenges startups need to prepare for. Limited budgets and resources. SEO is not cheap. Nothing really is, honestly, when it comes to marketing. It's very it tends to be very resource intensive. PPC is not cheap. So many marketing channels require investment and commitment. In certain industries that are competitive, it's going to be difficult to get traction. SEO needs to be balanced with, more short-term needs, things that you need to make changes about your product. And then, tracking, demonstrating ROI is difficult, right? Like, you may know that you're getting traffic, but you may not know that that traffic is converting. You need to be able to connect it to your back end, your business, maybe set up conversion goals in Google Analytics in order to demonstrate that the traffic that is coming to you is actually converting. And even so, it can be hard sometimes to know, you know, like someone might have come to you and seen an article, and then they leave the website, and then they come later on directly a week later and they buy. That in the analytics might not all show up together because that session has been broken into multiple sessions, and in the one where conversion actually happened, the person came direct to your website, but the original reason why they found you was SEO. So you often find yourselves in a situation where we are kind of underrepresenting the significance of SEO in terms of, driving the business. Um, there are a number of tools that can help you, go deeper into SEO. These are a few that we use commonly at the agency. I think every site, should really have like Google Analytics or Google Search Console set up, because that's going to give you free insights into your website. It's pretty simple. You sign up, they give you like a snippet of JavaScript, you add that to your website, and then it starts tracking data. It starts telling you who's coming to your website, where they're coming from, what they're searching for, and you get to learn more about your audience. Ubersuggest is more for like keyword research. Ahrefs, SEMrush, and Moz are more like power user type tools that can just do a number of things. But if you are really dedicated to SEO, or someone on your team is really owning it, then those tools are going to help them really explore the market and the opportunities and get a much deeper understanding into what's going on. So some final takeaways are, mainly that SEO is a long-term investment, and it has to be balanced with a need for quick wins and scalable strategies. And you sort of have to decide when, if ever, the right time to invest in SEO is. However, there are a lot of benefits to building a strong SEO foundation, that it can continue to generate traffic and hopefully leads, just consistently over time, with more of a continued modest investment, as opposed to a very direct investment in channels like PPC or other ones. If at any point you want to explore a market analysis for your business, we provide this complimentary at Shortlist. You can just schedule a call with us and let us know about your competition, your market, your target customers, keywords that you want to rank for. We do offer a startup bundle as well, which is reasonably priced for startups, that includes a suite of things like keyword research, content strategy, backlinks, and consulting. In any case, I hope that this presentation was valuable. It will be live on the Philly Tech Entrepreneurs website. We have a section in the resources for webinars where you can see all past and present ones. And we continue to do this every month. So I hope to continue to see you there. Thank you.